feel like I let my teammates down tonight.
Take him in a room and say, CJ, where are you right now? Be honest with me, because if not, Davis Mills will have to be the guy.
You are not having that conversation with CJ Stroud.
Andrew Luck, shotgun, finds Dwayne Allen, shoots it in there for a 14-7 lead.
Command in motion. Williams drifting, sprinting for space, in all kinds of trouble, put it up for grabs to the end zone. Connect! He got it! For the touchdown!
Here, Indiana move. We from Indiana move. We from Indiana move. I'm an Indiana move.
Touchdown! I-N-D-Y!
And he lost the ball. There's a fumble. Who's got it? The officials say the Colts do. Blocked it way downfield, intercepted, coming forward and making the INT for the Colts in the back end. To see the Colts win Super Bowl.
Hey, win on three! 1, 2, 3, win!
Welcome back to the channel. This is Marcus Sniffles, and we're here to talk about the playoffs. And I think the Colts are about to make a huge mistake. Before we get into that, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, maybe hit the hype button. I know that does something. I'm not sure yet, but hit the button. I'm sure it helps. But so watching these playoffs, and shout out to the NFL, like from the wild card round to the divisional round, all these games have been elite. Well, there's like 1 or 2 games in there that haven't been as great, but for the most part, these playoff games have been elite watching, like top-notch sports viewing for fans of the teams, fans of just the NFL, fans of football. No complaints about what I've been seeing in the playoffs. But watching these games and how it relates to the Colts, in my opinion, I feel like to have a legit championship contending team, you have to have at least 3 things, right? If you want to win a championship, or say be in the, let's say, make it to the divisional round. Let's start there. I'm not going to say AFC championship game, but let's just say to make it to the second round of the playoffs, you have to have at least these 3 things, in my opinion. I think you have to have a top 10 quarterback. You have to have a top-notch coach. So that could be like, an elite defensive play calling coach or an elite offensive mastermind, like one of those kinds of coach. It just can't be your run-of-the-mill coach. It just can't be a guy. It has to be someone has a specialty and is great at doing that specialty, whether it be offense or defense. Special teams, not so much. And I think you have to have an elite. It's kind of hard to really like dice it up into just one, but it's like you have to have an elite roster / elite in the trenches, whether it be offense or defensively. So if you go through all the teams that have made it to the playoffs, the Panthers, they don't have any of that stuff. The Steelers, they had a top-notch defensive coach. The Eagles, I believe they have like the trenches on offense and defense. Let me pause it right here. At some point, I'm going to have to do a video ranking my top 10 quarterbacks, because when we go through this, I'm going to say, like, is this guy a top 10 quarterback? I don't know yet, because I haven't done the rankings in a while. So I'm going to put a pin here. My first video of the offseason, we're going to rank the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, not including rookies. But the Eagles, I believe, have the roster, and they probably have a top 10 quarterback. Like Jalen Hurts, probably top 10. It's hard to argue with that, with his accomplishments and all that stuff. The Rams, Packers, and the Bears, I believe, have a top-notch offensive coach, and I believe they all have a top 10 quarterback. I believe Matthew Stafford's a top 10 quarterback. I believe Jordan Love is a top 10 quarterback. I believe Caleb Williams is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. The Bills, I think the Bills have obviously they have a top 10 quarterback. I think they have a top 10 offensive line. You might be able to make a case that Sean McDermott is a specialist on defense, but I'm leaning no on that because his defenses don't always show up in the playoffs. The Broncos have the coach and they have like the great roster, at least defensively. The 49ers, the Chargers, and the Jaguars all have the head coach, maybe the quarterback. Like, we have questions about Trevor Lawrence come playoff time. We have questions come playoff time with Justin Herbert. Some people, me included, not completely 100% sold on Brock Purdy on if he is a top 10 quarterback. Like I said, we will be doing a video on top 10 quarterbacks in the offseason. So I'm getting excited to do that. So look out for that. Turn on notifications and all that. I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys something. About 90% of you guys that watch this video are not subscribed to the channel. Don't be a weirdo. Subscribe to the channel. Don't be part of the 90%. Be a part of the 10%. And let's get that 10% to 90%. So 90% of you guys that are watching are actually subscribed. That would help me out a lot. Cost you nothing. It's free and I'd appreciate it. Seahawks, Texans. I believe they have the coach and roster. And you know what? Honestly, Seahawks, coach, roster, quarterback. I'm going to say Sam Darnold is a top 10 quarterback. So the Seahawks have all three. Texans definitely have the coach and definitely have the defensive front and an elite roster. CJ Stroud, I don't know, man. Kind of shaky. Then you look at the Patriots. I believe the Patriots have all three. They have a top 10 quarterback. They have an elite roster, and they have an elite coach. Like Mike Vrabel, he got the Tennessee Titans to an AFC Championship game. In my book, you're an elite coach. If you can do that, you're elite. So you look at the Colts roster, you look at the Colts quarterbacks, and you look at the Colts coach. Do we believe that we have a top 10 quarterback on our roster? Do we believe we have an elite roster in terms of trench play or like guys, like actual dudes that can make big plays? And do we have a, elite offensive mastermind at head coach? Those are all questions that are yet to be seen, and watching these playoffs, even with having an elite coach, elite offensive coach, your coach can only scheme up so many easy throws for you. They can only get you the easy completions, the throws in the flats, the wide open crossers, the screen plays, the checkdowns. Those can only work so much. But when it's 3rd and 7 and the blitz is coming and you got someone like Derek Stingley out there, or you got someone like Pat Surtain Jr. out there, and you got Will Anderson coming from one side or TJ Watt coming from another side, do you have the quarterback that can make the play with his arm or his legs? Can he extend the play, scramble out of the pocket, go backwards, spin out to the backside, step up into the pocket, make a tight window throw it on a rope, accuracy, power, whatever he needs to do to make that play? Is he capable of doing that? Because when it comes to coaching, you can have the Sean McVays, you can have the Ben Johnsons, but at some point, those defensive players, they get paid too. That defensive coach, he gets paid too. And sometimes the defensive coordinator or defensive head coach or the defensive players either make a play or they call a play that is going to mess up the play call. And it's up to your quarterback to go out there and extend the play and make a throw or make a run like Josh Allen, like Caleb Williams, like Matt Stafford. Can you make that tight window throw? Can you make that accurate throw where only your wide receiver can get it? If it's 3rd and 7, can you scramble for that for 9 yards? Can you run somebody over to get into the end zone? There's a lot of things that need to happen that the great quarterbacks do when it comes time to making a play in the playoffs. And you have to look at our quarterback situation and say, do we have that? Do we have a guy that can do it? Like we saw Daniel Jones go out there and make clutch throws and runs against the Broncos, against the Cardinals, against the Falcons. We've seen him do it. We know that he is capable of doing that. But let me say this. I'm currently getting cooked on Reddit. Shout out to Colts Reddit. If you're following me on YouTube from Reddit, Hi, how's it going? Appreciate you. Here's a face to the name that's on some of those posts in there. But I got on Reddit and I said, just so we're clear, we're going to pay about $40 million a year for an injury-prone quarterback who broke his leg and tore his Achilles on the other, who was only available to us because he was injured, to replace our other injury-prone quarterback. You made it this far. If you have not liked the video at this point, what are you waiting for? Just like the video. Hit the like button right now. I'm talking to you. Make sure you like the video and subscribe and drop a comment. All that stuff. This is a threat. Not a threat, a warning. But it could be a threat. Just do it. Like, to kind of break that down, we're going to pay, like, if you go back and watch Chris Ballard's end of the year presser and what Daniel Jones stated, like, there's mutual interest. Daniel Jones wants to be back. Chris Ballard wants him back. Shane Steichen wants him back. The going rate for quarterbacks, for starting caliber quarterbacks, is about $35-45 million a year on average. So we're going to have to pay around that amount for that. And, the price will go down because he's coming off an Achilles injury. That's not true. Kirk Cousins got maxed out, and he's older. He was like close to 40, coming off an Achilles injury, and he still got big money. So Achilles doesn't matter. Did you produce as a starter? Daniel Jones did. He's going to get that money. So the only reason we were able to get Daniel Jones as a free agent is because the Giants released him because he was injured. They didn't want to pay his injury, bonus or whatnot. Like, he was hurt a year or two earlier. He was hurt in college. They released him. He got picked up by the Vikings and then, moved on from there. And lo and behold, he got injured in Indianapolis. He broke a bone in his left leg, and then he tore his Achilles in his right leg. Now, we haven't seen a quarterback under 30 with an Achilles injury and how they look post Achilles injury. I just will say, pause the video. If you have the space to do it, go find a place and do a 5-step drop back. And while you're doing that, I want you to focus on how your heel feels and how much pressure or pushing off you have to do from that particular muscle to drop back and throw a pass, to throw a football, to take off running. That's his strong foot that he tore his Achilles on, his right leg. That's the leg that he's going to be pushing off the most. And he tore his Achilles on that leg. It's going to be tough. And he already wasn't as mobile this past season. Do we expect him to use his legs more or less coming off of 2 major leg injuries in the offseason? Now, if I'm Carly Ursay-Gordon, I'm calling Shane Steichen into my office, especially like immediately after that Texans game that Riley Leonard had. I'm calling Shane into my office and I'm asking him, and we're going to have a open, heart-to-heart, hard, honest conversation. Can you get 75 to 80% of Daniel Jones's production out of Riley Leonard? We saw what Riley Leonard did against the Houston Texans defensive starters for the first half. I believe we put up like 17 points. He had over like 100-something passing yards, a few rushing yards, a couple of touchdowns. Like, Riley Leonard looked really good off of 1 week of practice. If you tell me that we can get 75 to 80% of what Daniel Jones did for the fraction of the price, like, Riley Leonard was a 6th-round pick. I'm guessing his salary is under $3 million a year. Okay? So instead of paying Daniel Jones $45 million a year, we could save $42 million a year. And if Shane Steichen is like, you know what? With my coaching, with my scheme, with my play calling, with Jonathan Taylor, with Tyler Warren, with Alec Pierce, with Riley Leonard's mobility, I can get 75% of the production out of Riley Leonard that I got out of Daniel Jones, because that's on me. Like, I was able to get that out of Daniel Jones because Daniel Jones was bad before he got to us. He had proven to be a bad quarterback. He had 1 good year in New York. I made him. I'm speaking as Shane Steichen. I made Daniel Jones good. I'm the reason why he's getting paid. So I made Daniel Jones. I can make another one. I turned Gardner Minshew into a Pro Bowler. I can do this. I can make Riley Leonard into a poor man's Daniel Jones. And if that's the case, go on over to Chris Ballard's office and say, hey, we're not re-signing Daniel Jones. We're not bringing him back. So now you have $42 extra million to play with. Now you can, obviously, I think in the draft, we're going to focus on defensive playmakers. But now you have a little bit more money to play around with in free agency. Maybe make some trades. Let's bring in some veteran wide receiver or a veteran defensive player or some pass rushers. Something so we can build a team like a solid roster, like a great roster around Riley Leonard. So we can go back to the three things that I was talking about. Like, so we don't have a top 10 quarterback, but we have the top-notch coach, top-notch play caller, and we can build the elite trench play. We already have that on the offensive line. Now we have $42 million to build that on the defensive line, and we can build that great roster, and we can have 2 out of the 3 things that a team needs to be able to contend and make it to the divisional round of the playoffs. Now, with the Colts, we need to focus on winning a game in Jacksonville, beating the Houston Texans when it matters, making the playoffs, getting to 10 wins before we start talking about the divisional round. But like I said, that's something that we'll focus more on in the offseason. We will talk about ranking our top 10 quarterbacks. Let me know in the comments how you feel about this. I feel pretty good about this. Like, Shane Steichen made Daniel Jones good. Why can't he do the same thing with Riley Leonard? Let me know in the comments if you think I'm crazy or you agree with me. Like, comment, subscribe. We drop videos every Monday, 7 in the morning right here. So make sure you turn your notifications on. And I'll see you on the next one. Go Colts.
Thanks for watching, babe. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel.